Hey, Bougie Club. Happy Sunday. Let me put my phone on the charger. I want to talk to y'all. So I went and did my family checks. I couldn't take it no more. I hadn't seen my mama in 2 weeks, and I needed to check on her. And luckily I did, because she wanted some neck bones. So I had to go to the store and buy my mama some neck bones. Okay, it's charging. Put comments in the comments. I hope that this works this week. I noticed it's been cutting off on us midway through. So I pray that this technology works and y'all get this information. Shout out to my neighbor Missy for making me a mask. Y'all know I'm not subscribing to everything that everybody else is, but because I had not been around my mom, and she's 80 and she has some lung issues, I didn't want to bring any new germs into her space, so I did wear a mask. I washed my hands when I got in the house. My dad opened the door, I washed my hands, and I kept my mask on the whole time I was there and talked to her, and she wanted a hug, and I did not hug my mama. We did an elbow dab, and then I left and went and got her some neck bones and then gave it to my dad through the door. So I am social distancing. I also went and checked on my son because I hadn't seen him in a month. He wasn't answering his phone, which brings me to the topic of the conversation. I know a lot of you all are going through emotionally and spiritually as we're going through this season. I implore you all to read Exodus, revisit the plagues that struck the land when Moses was going to the Pharaoh to ask him to free the Egyptians. We almost at Easter, and so really reflect on what the scripture what was going on in those times and what the meaning and significance of Passover is. I think if you approach the situation from that perspective, you may reconcile with what's going on a little better. So I'm looking at this from a spiritual perspective. And so I want to kind of talk to you all about cleansing your spirit. Y'all, energy is real. Negative energy is real. Spirits are real. One of the things that I often do for people is do spiritual cleanses on their space. This is something that my mother and my aunts taught me how to do years ago, because they used to go and pray over people's houses and bless their houses and stuff like that. And I still do it. I've taught my children how to do it. I believe in crystals and, stone work. I know a lot of people say, oh, that's not of God, but again, go back to your Old Testament and read about the breastplate that Aaron wore before he went into the temple. It talks about stones, what those stones represent. It tells you that he had onyx on his shoulder to absorb the sins of the people. So, y'all, y'all don't read y'all Bibles. So a lot of stuff that people tell y'all just run with it and think it's okay because y'all don't get into the word for yourself, which is why I don't give you scriptures. I tell y'all to Google it and find it for yourself, to study to show yourself approved. But I digress. So I'm going to talk to you all about spiritual cleansing because this is something that I do religiously. So I protect my energy. I'm very sensitive to energy, especially negative energy. Some people call it shadow energy. And so I have to protect my peace, depending on where I am, depending on what I use. But in my home, I have a crystal grid. So before I moved into this apartment and moved any of my stuff in, I did a spiritual cleanse on this space because I don't know who was there. I don't have a lot of company. And the reason why I don't have a lot of company, because certain energies and people's spirits will not be comfortable in my space. And I'm okay with that. So if people don't come over or they come over and they don't come back, I understand it's because the rituals that I do in my house are serving their purpose. So one of the things that I want to talk to you all is about a spiritual bath. You need Epsom salt. This stuff works wonder. But put a little Epsom salt in your bath water. I also use olive oil, and I use a little bit of lavender oil, but if you got a real sensitive girlfriend, you might want to be a little mindful of the essential oils. But take an Epsom salt bath. Salt is cleansing. It will detox you. It will remove the impurities. So that's a basic thing. Just do you an Epsom salt bath. Another product that I do, and I use this religiously, I just buy 2 and 3 of them at a time. It's like $30. This is called Keto Maldición by Masterpiece. This is Ayanla Van Zant's brand. She ain't giving me no kudos or no checks for this, but this is something that I live by. I take, it is a salt scrub. I don't know if y'all can see it. It has some different fragrances and oils. It has oils. It has black soap in it. It has Himalayan sea salt in it as well. Sometimes I put Himalayan sea salt in my baths, but I use this scrub, especially when I got something on me real heavy. I'll use it daily, but I definitely use it like when I feel like my energy is off. If I got something really heavy on me, I'll use it every day for a week. There's instructions on how to use this. I also use this when I'm traveling. So when I'm getting ready to go somewhere, I scrub with this. I take a bath and scrub with this before I get on a plane. When I get back home from traveling, first thing I do is get in the tub and I use this scrub because I don't want to bring any energy that I may have picked up on my travels back with me. So that is something that I always do. She also makes a room spray, and I use this on my sheets, and I use this in my house. So those are some of the things that I do from a body perspective. I also have different crystals that I wear. I have a black tourmaline stone, and I have a selenite stone. So I have a crystal grid in my house that I used when I cleanse my house, and I have selenite towers that sit on top of black tourmaline. So selenite repels negative energy. It creates a positive atmosphere in your space, and black tourmaline absorbs negative energy. And so I use the two of these together. So if it does enter into my space, I can repel it, and then the black tourmaline will absorb it. If I'm doing some coaching or, spiritual coaching with somebody and they got a whole lot going on and they're around different atmospheres that are not healthy for them, I will give them a piece of black tourmaline. This stuff is powerful, but depending on what kind you get, it will last longer. Like I had one guy, I gave him a different type of stone. This is like a worry stone, like a rubbing stone. And it's a softer stone, but he had so much negative energy around him, the stone actually disintegrated. So those are some things that you can keep on your person. Do your own research. Different people and different stones work for different things, but black tourmaline and selenite are two of the things that I absolutely have to have in my space. I keep them by the doors and the windows. At my son's house, when I blessed his house, I put them in the window sills. And this is a selenite tower. It's not plugged up, but it actually lights up. This is from Gigi's dorm room. Like, I'm just sharing with y'all what I do. So a lot of people are like, how you always so positive? I use the tools and resources that are available to me. So I want to talk about cleansing your space. So you might not have stones, that's fine. What I'm going to suggest you do, y'all, is clean your house. Clean your house. Clean your house. Wash your dirty clothes. If you got clean clothes, it's just in a basket. Fold them up. When you take off your dirty clothes, don't leave them in your bedroom or where you're going to sleep. Put them in the laundry room or a separate space for dirty stuff. Don't mix that energy. Don't mix that energy that you've worn with the world into your sacred space. So I'm going to help you guys consecrate your spaces. Clean your house. Do a deep clean in your house. You ain't got nothing but time. You ain't going nowhere. You don't have to go to work. And so what I suggest you do is to take some Epsom salt, and that's what's in this bowl. I'll tell you what I use this bowl for in a minute. But take some Epsom salt and put it in the corners of your room, right? Just go into every room in the house and put a little Epsom salt in a corner. This works much easier if you have a room that you're going to sweep. Ideally, when you first move into a space, you want to get a new broom. If you don't have a new broom, we're going to work with what you got. And you're going to put salt in the four corners of the room. And if you live downstairs, when I had 2 stories, I start on the first floor and then work my way up because the energy will rise. And so you want to make sure that you get it all out. Like, you don't want to take it from the bottom floor and push it to the top floor. You also want to work from the outside in. So take your rooms that's furthest to the outside wall, and then you're going to sweep inward. So take your salt and put it in the 4 corners of the room. And then after you put your salt in the room, you're going to prepare your mop water. And your mop water, you're going to use I use apple cider vinegar. I also use white vinegar. It just depends on whatever I have on hand. And you take the vinegar and your water, and then you're going to take some olive oil. And if you have it, if you don't have it, it's not a big deal. But if you can get it. Put some lavender oil in it. So you're going to make some mop water with water, vinegar, lavender oil, and olive oil. After you and get your mop water together. So then you're going to take your broom and you're going to go into the 4 corners. So you're going to go into the corner of the room, and I have a bell that I use. And I ring the bell in the corner of the room. And what that does is it gets any stagnant energy moving that may have been collected in the corners of the room. So you want to make sure that you don't leave stuff in the corners of your room, because that energy will just congregate there and just sit there. So you're going to take a bell and you're going to go to each of the corners of your room. And as you're in that corner of the room, you're going to start sweeping the salt out. And so you're going to take it and sweep it from the corners towards the center of the room. If it's got carpet, then you're going to take your vacuum cleaner and you're going to vacuum from the corner of the room and drag your vacuum cleaner to the center of the room. And you're going to do this in each corner, and you're going to go along the baseboard. So you'll start at the corner and then go down the wall, sweeping or vacuuming from the wall back towards the center of the room. Then you get to the next corner and you're going to ring your bell. Now, if you don't have a bell, then you want to make sure that you clap in that particular corner so that you can get that energy moving, and then you're going to sweep. The whole time where you're doing that, you're going to say the prayer. You know, one of my things is that only light and God can rest in this place. Only the light of God can rest in this place. And you pick whatever mantra or whatever tone that you want to set for your space as you're doing this process, and you're going to say that mantra. I like sound. Sometimes I put some gospel music in the background. I like sound, so I do like bells and bowl music playing in the background, but you can get you a good gospel song playing in the background, whatever speaks to you or the type of energy that you want to emanate in that space. And you're going to cleanse this space. If you guys are trying to create you a prayer room or a prayer closet, you want to do a spiritual cleanse on your prayer closet. So you're going to put the salt in the corners of the room. You make your mop water and have that ready, and you're going to have vinegar, olive oil, and lavender oil mixed in your mop water. That's it. Then you're going to go to each corner of the room and you're going to disturb any stagnant energy that's in that space by either clapping in that corner or ringing a bell in that corner. And as you're doing that, you're going to start consecrating that space with your prayer, whatever that prayer is. Mine is only the light and God can dwell in this place. Anything else has to move. And you start sweeping from the wall, from the corner out to the center, from the corner out to the center, from the wall to the center. And you're going to do this in all 4 corners of the room. Once you get a pile of the salt and the dirt in the center, if you're sweeping, you're going to take that up with your dustpan and you're going to take it out of the house and you're going to throw it in the street. Don't put it in your yard. Take it out to the street and dump it in the street. Or you could put it in a garbage bag and then take the trash out to the curb. But I take it out to the street. I take it all the way out. I don't want to stay in there any longer than necessary. Then after you swept all of the salt out of that room, then you're going to start mopping. And as you're mopping, you're going to mop from the corners to the center, and you're going to do the same thing as far as your prayer and your intentions for that space. This is a long process. It's a long process, but it works. Then, after I've cleansed that room, I shut the door and I take my burning bowl. Now, this is a bowl that I got from my dad, and this actually has a lot of salt in it. I wouldn't recommend using that much salt because it'll burn for a long time. You only need a little bit of salt. I'll say take like maybe this much salt, and then you'll need 91% rubbing alcohol, and you're gonna need like a pot holder because your pan is your bowl is gonna get really hot. You can use burning bowls. This is a Corningware bowl, but after you do that, you're gonna pour just a little bit of the alcohol in there, just enough to make it wet, and then you're gonna sit in the middle of the floor and you're gonna pray, and you're gonna pray in that space. But you have to light the alcohol, and it's gonna blow like a blue flame. And I hate to tell y'all this because I don't want nobody burning their house down. That's why I say you're gonna use a little bit of salt and a little bit of alcohol. But you're gonna use the flame, and it'll be like a blue-violet flame to consecrate the space. And you're gonna sit in the middle of that room for about 15 or 20 minutes, and you're just gonna pray, and you're gonna set the intentions for that space. And then you're gonna do that to each room in the house until you get to wherever the center room is. If you have an upstairs, you're going to do that, and then you go upstairs, and then you can come back downstairs to the center of the place. If you have windows in the room, open up the windows so that the air can circulate through that particular space. Turn your ceiling fan on, and you just want to cleanse that space. And you're going to pray in each room. You're going to remove any negative energy and anything that is not of God out of your space, because your home should be consecrated. And once you do this, you'll find certain people won't be able to come visit anymore because their energy is not welcome. That's the whole purpose of the prayer. I'm gonna turn my computer on so I can see y'all comments. And you're gonna pray in the space. Then after you've prayed in all of your rooms and throughout your house, I want you to light some sage, and this is just white sage, and you're gonna burn this, and you're gonna go through the house. Y'all know, if y'all ever been to a Catholic church, y'all see when the priest comes in, he's swinging that little bowl with the incense in it. Same type of principle. You're going to use the sage to finalize the consecration of the space. And the other thing that it does is sage is cleansing. It has cleansing properties, so it's going to clean the air in your space. Now, if you ever smoke weed, it'll probably kind of remind you of weed smell. My kids, when they smell the smell, they know I don't smoke anymore, so they already know what's going on. But you guys need to cleanse your spaces. I can't tell you how much different that will make. Like, clean the spaces, wash your walls, clean your baseboards, get all of this negative energy out of your space. Pray over your children, pray in your house, do it in every room, do it in your kids' room. They may think you have lost your mind. Look, my kids used to think I was crazy when I used to do it, but you know what? They do it, and sometimes they be like, Mama, I need you to come pray over my house. And I see that Facebook is being a hater. And it's saying something went wrong. Let me see if we on YouTube. We got to restream. So, okay, it's saying that y'all still on. I'm not sure if y'all can see me on Facebook or not. But yes, so definitely cleanse your spaces. I want you all to cleanse your spaces. It will be you'll feel better. Your energy levels will go up. You'll notice there's not as much discontent in your space. It's not as much arguments in your space. You'll rest better. And it's just simple things. Like, really, all you need is some Epsom salt, some vinegar, some olive oil, and some sage. And I say that because, like, the burning bowl is nice, but with everything that's going on, you might not be able to find the alcohol, and you have to get a high percentage of isopropyl in your alcohol. So regular rubbing alcohol that's 50-50 is not gonna work because there's too much water in it. You really need the 90%, the 90% or above for it to burn. But I will be honest, you don't need a lot of alcohol and you don't need a lot of salt, but you have to do something and do it in something that can contain high heat, because it's going to get really, really hot. You're not going to be able to hold it in your hand. I use a towel on the floor because I put it in the center of the floor, and then like a pot holder underneath it, and then I light it because even with this being Corningware, it gets really, really hot. So if you're not on that level, don't worry about the burning bulb, but definitely use your salt in your corners and get your mop water with your vinegar, your olive oil, and your lavender oil. If you don't have the lavender oil, you can just use the vinegar and the olive oil. And you're going to place the salt, sprinkle the Epsom salt in the corners of the room, and you're going to either use a bell or you're going to clap to get that stagnant energy that's settled in the corners moving around, and then you're going to sweep from the corners to the center of the room. Then as you're sweeping from the corners to the center of the room, you're going to start affirming a prayer on what can and cannot dwell in your space. For me, nothing but light and God can dwell in my space. Anything that's not of him must leave. And you figure out what's organic to you and what you want, and then that's your prayer as you're doing the sweeping. That's the prayer after you've swept everything up and taken it outside of the house. Make sure you open your windows to let the air circulate. Then I want you to sit in the center of that room with the door closed, and I want you to pray. I want you to pray over that space and pray over that room if it's your bedroom, and I want you to pray over your bedroom. How do you want to sleep? How do you want to feel when you walk into that room? You know, if you're married, you know, when we rest in this place, we're going to be in peace. We're not going to go to bed angry. Like, you speak whatever life over that part of your house that you want. When you're at the kitchen table, when you're in your kitchen, you're going to speak about you're going to have an abundance of food, that people that sit at your table going to be full, they're not going to walk away hungry, that this is the place that the family gathers. Like, you're going to go into each room and you're going to speak over that room, and you're going to pray over that room. When you get to your kids' room, you're going to pray over your kids' room, that they know that they are created in the image of God, that they will not be led into the temptation of peer pressure, that God will protect their mind from all harm and empower them to make great decisions. Like, you're going to start speaking those life over your babies while you're in their room, cleansing their room and praying over their room and consecrating their room. And you're going to do it in each room in your house, even your bathroom. Like, you're going to pray over your bathroom. One of the things I pray over my bathroom, that I eliminate any waste that is no longer needed from my body, that we will have productive eliminations in this space, and that when we look in the mirror, we will feel great about ourselves. When we look in the mirror, we'll know that the reflection that's looking back at us is the image of God. Like, even in your bathroom is powerful because a whole lot of stuff goes on in your bathroom. So yes, you're going to consecrate your bathroom. You're going to pray over your bathroom. You're going to anoint your bathroom. You're going to do it in every room of your house. Now is the time. I ain't got nothing but time. Some of y'all might sound crazy. Some of you all might be resonating with you all. You may have wanted to do a house blessing, didn't know how to do a house blessing. There are more than one technique of doing a house blessing. This one has worked effectively for me for years and for others for years. And this process has been in my family for as long as I can remember. So I just wanted to share that with you all. I want you to protect your mind and your mental space and consecrate the space that you're going to stay in. Understand when you do this, there will be some people who no longer be able to rest in your if experience ain't aligned with what you just consecrated your space for. So you boom, not making any more boogie calls. If it ain't aligned with what you ask God to do in your space. You know, your girl might not come over anymore if she's not in alignment. What you ask God to do in that space, prepare that. And if you ain't really ready to change, and you really get different, then this might be the process for you. If you have a comment, I hope they get no reason that when people are at a low level, come on, get my God, my stream off. So, and if you still watch it, I don't know, like Facebook said something with wrong. So, I'll put it on the YouTube channel, I'm talking about now. So we have all the things that we need. Also, episode, bigger, outside of still bigger, uh, use that. The rooms in the house. If you're sweeping, just take the dust and dump it out on the street. And then you're gonna close the door. Then you're gonna pray in that room for at least 15 minutes. At least 15 minutes, and you're gonna consecrate that space. You could put music in the background. Just use sounds, like meditative music. Or you can play your favorite gospel song, favorite gospel artist, and so that you're impregnating that space with the Holy Spirit. If you guys are trying to create a room, this is how you would consecrate your room. If it's gonna be your closet, this is how you would consecrate closet. That's all I got. Bougie Club. I hope this blessed somebody. I hope it's helpful for somebody, because I know there's a lot of people struggling with the present time that we're in. But God is in control. This has all been divinely designed by Him for a purpose that we have not yet to be seen. I love you all as always, encouraging you to be bold, outspoken, unapologetic, goodwill, inspiring, and epic every day. I love you all in this life and the next. Have a fantastic evening. I love you guys and good night.